Yeah. All right. Hold on here. So, oops. Let me zoom back out. That's what the
I
problem
want to say
is.
something when you get it done.
Oh yeah. Okay. So,
Okay, this is it right here. Not
Yeah.
don't look at me. Look at the stone.
well,
Look
I
at-
like looking at you.
I know, but look at the stone. And I got to tell you, I thought they'd be green. I don't know why I thought the Blarney stone would be green.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
It's not.
actually, this looks like a nice countertop in a house.
Yeah.
It's-
You know what you're supposed to do for luck though is kiss it.
Are you gonna do it?
It looks like it has bird poop on it.
Anybody ever got sick kissing the Blarney Stone? Hey, good
No,
luck.
Good luck. Okay.
Ready?
Am I gonna do it?
Yeah. Here.
Okay.
All right. Go for it. Oh, yeah?
Yeah, now I have bird poop on my lips. Come give me a smooch, honey.
Nope. We're done. Hey, this is Dan from Potential Adventure, and that clip that you just saw, that was in Shamrock, Texas. We shot that about 2.5 weeks ago while we were passing through, while we were exploring Route 66. And it's a fun little town, Shamrock, Texas. They've got a couple of other gas stations that have been nicely restored, and so it's something to look at of the past of Route 66 there. And additionally, they say that the town has one of the world's largest celebrations for St. Patrick's Day, which I know I just got myself in trouble by saying one of the world's largest, because I know that there's somebody who's going to go, no man, that is the world's largest. And you got to think about it, it's in Texas and everything's big in Texas, so that must be what the situation is. Anyway, today I wanted to talk to you about 5 tips that we have if you are planning on going out on Route 66. Maybe it's on your bucket list or something like that, but we have 5 tips that we want to share with you. Okay, so the first tip that we have for you is that if you're planning an extensive trip, in other words, if it's going to be a multi-day trip of exploring Route 66, you should try to keep your days somewhere between 150 and 200 miles of travel. So if you're going to be setting your stops, like your hotel stops and things like that, 150 to 200 miles distance is pretty good, because here's the thing. It's true. 200 miles, if you're going 75 miles an hour, is probably only going to take you like maybe 3.5 hours, maybe 4 if you got bathroom breaks and stuff like that. So to think, oh, it's just a 4 hour of driving, that's true, except for you're going to be stopping so often to check things out, and you're probably going to be at some places for half an hour exploring. So you've got to give yourself the time to do it. We found the days where we had 200 or more miles, we were often showing up at the hotel after dark and ready to go to bed because we were so tired from the long day. You just have to learn to shorten that trip up if you want to have more time so that you can enjoy the actual roadside attractions or the other artifacts and events that are out there. Our second tip is to talk to the museum curators that you come across, or the gift shop owners, or the owners of the various roadside attractions, because they all kind of know each other. They're all in the same game, which is Route 66 tourism. And so they're all talking to each other, and they know who they are, and they're going to be able to give you the best information as far as what's coming up down your trip. So if you say, hey, yeah, I see in this book that here's an old ghost town that I can go check out here. Do you know anything about that? And they'll go, you don't want to mess around with that. That's just kind of an old building with a bunch of trees growing up through it now. So you might want to avoid that, but you should check out, and then they'll tell you where you should go, because maybe they know the person that runs it, or maybe they know the overall condition, and so they recommend to you the better things to see. So the locals and the shop owners, the museum curators, the gift shop owners, or the actual hotel owners and so forth, those are some of our best tips that we got as far as where to go next. Our third tip is about the guidebooks, and I just created a video last week about the guidebooks that we used during the trip, and I'll put a link up above if you're interested in going back and taking a look at it. But having guidebooks along is important, but it's even more important to carry more than one guidebook, because the guidebooks themselves, no one guidebook has everything that you want to know about or learn about in it. So what you need to do is you need to have some of them have more information as far as the smaller type of event or event places or artifacts, such as like if you are into the ghost towns and stuff like that, and the early routings. The earliest, during Route 66, there was lots of times where they changed the route and it took it from an original course and put it into a different place. So maybe you want to go back and see those original courses and what was there and things like that. Some books have it, some books make no mention of it whatsoever. So having two of them to kind of get information off of, or another thing that Angela liked doing was she would find a place in one, but it wouldn't list the actual physical address. So she could find it in the other one, and it did have the physical address. And you know, we're using GPS to locate some of these things, so it's easy to just drop an address in there and go right to it. So having the information from two books, or maybe even three, can be very helpful as far as being able to sort down where you're headed to and what you're looking for. The fourth tip is to take lots of pictures, and the reason why is because the route is ever changing. There's going to be a lot of situations where you'll take a picture of something that's been there forever. Well, maybe it's not going to be there in 10 years from now. Who knows? I mean, change is constantly happening. Now, sometimes they're good changes. Sometimes they are bringing in and restoring an old artifact or place. I like calling them artifacts. It kind of sounds like I'm an archaeologist or something like that. Sometimes they are completely restoring or rebuilding like a hotel. And so it's an opportunity for you to get a picture of maybe before, and then maybe you'll come back in a few years and you can shoot the after of it, or you can find out what it did eventually show up to be like. There was a couple of places that we stopped along the route this time. One of them was called Two Guns. It was weird. One of them was Two Guns and one of them was Twin Arrows. Two Guns was a place where it used to be an animal park or a zoo or something like that. And it's all shut down now. But in the guidebook, it said that there were periodic times when you could go and wander along the lot and take pictures and things. And then there were other times when it was posted and they didn't want to have anybody in there. So we went and checked it out, and the time we were there, we didn't see any posting or anything. So we were able to go in, take pictures of the old buildings and so forth, and get kind of an idea of what it must have been at one time. Then we moved on to Twin Arrow. Now, Twin Arrow was a place that was a old Indian trading post, and it was a great business. It was there, very well known. It was a gas station as well as a trading post and business where they sold a lot of different types of things. And it is now all closed down and gang tagged, all that kind of stuff. So it is a completely different and run down location. And the Twin Arrows are still stuck into the ground on the lot. And so I went ahead and shot pictures of everything that was there because, you know, someday somebody might come along and decide to turn that property into something else, and all the artifacts from the Route 66 days will be gone. And so that's my way of, you know, at least I'll have a picture of it to show, hey, yeah, that used to be there before it became a new extension of the casino that's right across the highway from it. That's kind of a cool thing. The last tip, tip number 5, is to plan your days accordingly as far as times and even like time of the year. Now, what this means is that, you know, most of these places that you're going to want to visit are probably a business or something like that where they have general business hours. And when a day is going long and you get past 5 o'clock, you'll find that less things are open for you to check out. Another thing that we discovered on this last trip was that there is a tourist season for Route 66, and that tends to be sometime, it's looking like about mid-March through probably the end of October is when the general tourist season is for those guys. So you will find that certain things are closed down. For instance, the Blue Swallow Hotel, which is in Tucumcari, New Mexico, they've got a sign on their door that says, "We are currently not open today, check back tomorrow." But I think really what they're saying is, you know, if we don't get enough bookings in our hotel, it's not worth it for us to have staff on to clean the 1 or 2 rooms and rotate it through. So what they do is they just don't open until a busier time of year. Another thing that we found was the Midpoint Cafe, which is at the apparent midpoint of the trip between Los Angeles and Chicago. There is a cafe lift. It's in Adrian, Texas. And it's a famous cafe, and it's a cafe, and then right next door to it is a nice little gift shop. But both of them were closed, and they had signs on them saying closed for the season, will open March, I think it was like March 15th. So it was real close to the date. I think we missed it by like about a week and a half or two. So, oh well. Anyways, just know that there are seasons out there. So if you're going to be doing some exploring, and it's going to be the time of year when probably more tourists aren't out there. I mean, in the peak of the season, I tell you, it is busy. There are tourists stopping and going all over the place. A lot of foreign people make their trips over for that. It's a great time to be out there on the road. And while we were doing this just weeks ago in winter time still, it was a different type of thing. I mean, we found that we were pretty much by ourselves most of the time. We did run into a few tourists in a few places, but for the most part, wintertime is going to be a slower season, and therefore some of the things that you want to check out might not be open. So be very aware of those kind of things, of hours and also of seasons that might be happening. Hey, if you liked this video, and we sure hope you did, then please subscribe. We only have 4 subscribers right now, and one of them's my mom. So I don't think she really counts as a full-on subscriber. It's kind of like an obligatory type of deal. Okay, so we got 3 subscribers right now, and I think I know all of those people too. But we would sure love to have you aboard. Also, if you ring the bell below, we will be sending you notifications whenever we post new stuff. And finally, if you would take the time in the section below, in the comment section, to please tell us some of the places that you've explored. We're always looking for new places to go ourselves, and man, we'd sure like some help from other people. And tell us about the places you've seen and why you liked them, and maybe it'll be some place where we could add it to our bucket list down the road as well. Thanks for watching.
Would you like to go with others? Would you like to go with me? Would you like